Hi, welcome to the first lecture of Biblical Hebrew. Now let's start with the Hebrew alphabet. The Hebrew alphabet consists of 22 letters, and all of the letters are consonants. The first letter is called Alif, Alif, and it's written like this. We have one diagonal from the left top corner to the right bottom corner. And then we have two lines from the right top corner. This is the first line. And then the second line is from the middle to the left bottom corner. This letter is called Aleph. Now the way to pronounce it might seem a little bit complicated in the beginning, but don't be discouraged. Just try to follow my instructions now. Let's take, for example, the sentence that is. The sentence consists of two words, that and then is. Now, if you concentrate on the second word, it says is. So what's this beginning of the word is? It's not I. It's something that happens down in the throat. It's this guttural stop, what it's called. So try to say it with me. Is. This sound, okay? So when you say is, you have this sound in the beginning. Try to say it a couple of times to practice it. And this sound is called the Aleph, okay? It's this guttural stop. So this is the printing version of Aleph. We have also the version when you write a letter, for example, or when you write it with your hand. You have the writing version and it looks completely different. Just watch how it looks like. So we start with a half circle and then we put a line on the left of it. So this is an Aleph if you write it with your hand. So we start with the circle. This is the first step you do. The second step you do is this line on the left side. So when you write it with your hand, you write this. When you print it with the computer, with the printer, then it looks like that. And when we want to transliterate this letter into our language, we will use the apostrophe. The apostrophe. Let me just put this in another color. So when we write it in English, we will use this apostrophe. Or just let me put that away because that will confuse them maybe a little bit. Okay, so we don't say a or something. We use this apostrophe to illustrate that this is the guttural stop. This is the Aleph in our English language. So the second letter is called bet, bet, and it's written like that. Just watch me how I do it, and you can practice it on your own when you watch it. So this is the letter bet, and we need a point in the middle. This is bet, like in English the word burden, burden, b. This is the sound it makes, bet, bet. And in writing form, it looks like this. You have two curves. This is the first curve from the left top corner to the right bottom corner. And then we have the second curve that looks like that. So we start there and we end here. And don't forget the point, which is called dagesh by the side. We will learn this later in other lectures. So that's pretty easy to pronounce, right? It's like burden, b, b. And in our English language, we use the same letter, right? So we use this b. The next consonant is called gimel, gimel. Okay? You write it like that. Gimel. It's like when you say, I'm going, going. So this is the G sound. Gimel, going, G. And in writing form, it looks a little bit different. You start on the left top corner, make a line to the right, and then make a curve down. So that's where you start. This is Gimel in writing form. And let's just use the English form also that we use in going. So please don't confuse this with J, okay? For example, when you say the gender, okay? This is not gender, it's G. It has to be pronounced like G, like in going or go, okay? Gimel. So as far to now, we have the three first letters. It's Aleph. Try to pronounce it with me. Aleph. Then Bet. Gimel. Okay? The next letter is called Dalet. 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 So that's the Dalet. Okay? It's like in the English language, like do, doing, Dalet. In writing form, it's like two curves. So one curve and the other just connects to the first curve. That's the Dalet in writing language. Looks strange, I know, but get used to it. So in English, we use normal letter D. I hope you can read this. I hope this is not too bright. This is D, okay? Dalet, D. The next letter is pretty easy. It is called He. He. Okay, He. Like when you say hi, okay? Hi, the H sound. Or when you say ha 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 ha, okay? So this is how you can imagine it. Imagine it. And in writing form, it's two curves again. There's a big curve on the outside and there's a small curve on the inside. So the first curve to write is the outside one. That's the first one to write, and the second is the inward curve. Oh, the Dalet, you start on the top position, not from down to top, from up to down, okay? So now we have Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, He. The He is like the English sound, Ha, okay, He. That's also pretty simple, I believe. The next letter is Vav. Vav, okay? Like in vapor. Vapor. You know, when you say vapor, it's like Vav. Vapor. It's the same beginning of this word. Okay. Vav. In written form, it's just a line. So you leave this small line on the top, you just leave it out, and then it becomes the written form. So that is Vav. I'll just put the V letter in English. Okay? The next letter is Zayin. Zayin, like the computer program which is called Zoom. Okay? That's the program where you can connect and have some conversations via internet. Zoom. Okay? Zayin. Zayin. That's how you write it in printing form. And if you write it with the hand, you start over there and make a curve. Okay? Zayin. Well, I just put a Z like in Zoom. Okay? I'll write it there so you can remember how to pronounce it. Like in Zoom. Zayin like in Zoom. Or zoo, okay, where all the animals are. It's a wonderful place. The next letter is a little bit harder to pronounce. It's the Chet. Chet. Let me just write it down before I explain it. chet. Chet. Okay. So how can you pronounce this letter? Because it's very hard for you as an English-speaking person to pronounce it, because you don't have this letter in the language. So I'll give you instructions now, but please promise me not to use this anywhere else, okay? So try to imagine you're being strangled, okay? Somebody's strangling, or you're trying it yourself, and when you press down your throat, okay, and try to take a breath. Now I'll press down and I try to take a breath. When I take a breath without pressing my throat, it sounds like this, okay? And when I start to press and keep on taking a breath, listen to that. Okay, did you hear that? This is exactly the pronunciation of chet. You listen? Like ha. So try to use your throat in a way to put it backwards, so like when you're strangled, and then try to breathe, and then you have the chet sound. This is the original chet sound. That's how it works in the end. Do this many times till you can control your throat, so you can produce this sound yourself. Okay, che, che. Do like you're strangled on your own. Press the throat together. Chet. If you cannot do that, try it with your hand again to see where you can press it. Ah, it's there. Okay, and then you can practice it a little bit. Okay, I hope this helps you. Please, this is just to practice the language. It's not to use anywhere else. Okay, so chet. In writing form, it's very similar. We just have this bigger curve. Chet. And when I write it in the English language, I will use KH. Okay. Maybe you know this word from the word Tanakh. Okay, this is the Old Testament of the Bible, Tanakh, or maybe Chanukah. This is also used a lot of times in the United States or in England or in many English-speaking countries. They know what this means and they use it, Chanukah or Tanakh. And maybe you know that from this word, then you can just use it, or you can practice with your throat till you can do it on your own. So now we have so far Alif, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zain, Chet. We have 3 more letters I want to do now, and I'll just write them on this side. So the next letter is Tet. Tet. Okay, so write it. I just put a line over here, and then I write it there. Tet. Okay. Tet. So this is the letter Tet. And in written form, it's like that. Okay? Tet. So like the word to do, t. This is the t sound in English. It's very normal actually. We use this t sound for tet. Okay? Tet. And then the next letter is, so we have Alif, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Alif, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zain, Chet, Tet. And then we have the Yod. Yod. This is the smallest consonant in the Hebrew alphabet. Yod. And in written form, we just leave this upper line, and then it gets to the written form. Oh, I forgot to show you here where to start. You start with the curve first, and then you write the line. And here you start over there in the middle from this point, and then make this curve to the top. So here we have the Yod, and you just leave this line, and it gets to the written form. Yod is like the Y, the Y the letter Y in English, okay? It's that one. Yeah. Okay? Like you, okay? Or YouTube, okay? This is the letter Y or Yod in Hebrew. And the last letter I want to cover up with you in this lecture is the letter Kaf. Kaf. This is how it looks like, and it's pronounced like K, okay? Like a C. I can do it. Okay, the can, the K. This is the letter Kaf. And in written form, it's pretty much the same. Okay. And I'll use the C to represent it in the English language. So that's all the letters in the first part of this course, or better to say in the first lecture of this course. In the next lecture, we will look at the second 11 consonants. And let me just revise it at the end again with you together and try to pronounce it with me and to correct yourself if you are mistaken. And don't be discouraged. It can take a lot of time, maybe days or weeks till you are perfect at it. So just take your time, try to practice it. And if you need more time, just pause the videos. Don't continue. Practice it as long as you need to, and then you can continue with the next lecture. So let's try to do it again together. Alif. Alif. Bet. Gimel. Dalet. He. Vav. Zayin. Chet. Tet. Yod and Kaf. So, I hope that you understood everything, and we see each other in the next lecture.